Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Friday, and that means tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. I thought Smackdown was a pretty good show. I wouldn't call it great or anything, but I would say overall tonight's Smackdown was pretty good, and it did build up stuff going forward into next week's Smackdown, and of course, WrestleMania. We had a really good main event segment, not a main event match, but main event, well, the main event match wasn't bad at all as well. I mean, I did like Rey versus Karrion Kross. It wasn't a bad match. But it was just a match, if you really think about it in the end, where it was only there to basically build up the stuff with Dominic and Rey, which was actually pretty good when you really look at it. But that main event segment with Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso going back and forth on the mic and then Jay showing up, that was absolutely tremendous. And I said it before. You've got the Usos, Roman, Paul Heyman, and Sammy. I don't count Solo in that because he doesn't speak. But any combination of those five going back and forth on the mic, it's just been perfect from the start, if you really, really think about it. But as far as SmackDown does go, I would say it was a pretty good show overall. Not great or anything, but it was pretty good. But with that, I want to say thank you if you are watching, whether that's watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or if you're watching later on YouTube or listening on podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and it always gives you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. It doesn't cost you anything extra if you're using that Amazon Prime. You take that Amazon Prime, you take that Twitch account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, and there we go. Your Prime Gaming gives you free stuff for games, it gives you free games, and it gives you, again, a subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe. Hopefully it would be right here. Also, remember to head over to YouTube, become a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access podcast episodes, early access non-news videos, and so much more. Also, remember, you can donate a super chat to make sure your comment, question, or concern does get read live on the air. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming one of the free games or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rumbleverse. Well, not Rumbleverse, but Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rocket League, you can use our code right here, PW Unlimited, and you'll be supporting us at no extra cost. But with that, as far as tonight's Friday Night Smackdown does go, I'm going to pull up those notes right here because for some reason they froze and didn't want to load properly. But we're good now. Refresh really fast. And there we go. As far as tonight's Friday Night Smackdown does go, a video package recapped Roman Reigns defeating Sami Zayn at the Elimination Chamber to open up the show. It highlighted Jay and Jimmy's involvement, as well as Kevin Owens. It also recapped the Zayn-Owens angle from this past Monday on Raw. Kayla Braxton then spoke with Jimmy Uso when he arrived at the building. He hasn't heard from his brother Jay, but left a message for him to meet him in the ring later on tonight. Jimmy wants Jay to get whatever he needs off his chest. So this is a show-long story that goes throughout the whole thing. Now, I only know of that segment because I caught the YouTube or the Twitter clip of it. But this next match, Imperium versus Braun Strowman, Ricochet, and Madcap, I didn't see. I'm going to be fully transparent with you. I didn't see the match because Fox Sports was screwed up. Usually, SmackDown starts 5 o'clock, and by 5:01, I can start watching SmackDown. I go on the Fox Sports app. I'm already logged in with my YouTube TV, and there we go. But tonight, it never came up. There was never SmackDown on the Fox Sports app. So then I go, what the hell? Okay, I got to use Watch Wrestling. So then I go to Watch Wrestling. None of that wants to work. None of that wants to load. So I'm like, what the hell? Finally, I figure out I can use the regular Fox app or the regular Fox website. I get into there. It doesn't work at first. I log it out. I log it back in. And then eventually, we get going and everything starts working. BCW Brian Campbell, I have no clue what you're talking about. Trying to tell me what to do? No. But so I didn't see this match. I saw the very end of it once I finally started what's it called? Once I finally got it working, I saw the very, very end of this. McIntyre slowly took off his jacket and teased jumping into the ring and said the Viking Raiders would attack him from behind. Sheamus ran out to make the save. Strowman ran over the Viking Raiders, and Ricochet wiped them out with a huge dive. That's all I saw. So then McIntyre, Sheamus, Ricochet, Strowman all celebrated afterwards, but no Madcap Moss. Imperium did win the match, though. I don't know how or what happened during the match. Didn't see it because Fox wanted to be dumb and not actually work. Also, I got Rampage on over here. And they just announced next Wednesday, Orange Cassidy will be defending the All-Atlantic Championship against Big Bill. Give me 1 second really fast. So, also, there's going to be some... Well, next week's Dynamite is the go-home show. There's going to be a lot of stuff for Revolution on that show. But regardless, let's get going forward. Kayla Braxton spoke with Rey Mysterio. Mysterio promised to put an end to Karrion Kross when Santos Escobar would approach. He discussed his respect for Rey. Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley would then approach. Dominic mocked Escobar for respecting his father. Escobar threatened to teach Dominic to respect his father. So Santos is just a babyface now, I guess? Ripley got in Escobar's face and left. Escobar told Mysterio not to worry about Dominic. Mysterio noted that his son, well, he's his son, and he can't help worrying about him. So he's like, I'm always going to worry about my son. There we go. Again, BCW, I have no clue what you're talking about. We then had Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa discussing Jey Uso's actions at Elimination Chamber in their locker room. Paul Heyman would speak and felt that Solo Sikoa should stay in the back when Jimmy confronts Jey later on tonight, and Jimmy did agree. So we got an LA Knight segment. This wasn't bad at all. I really enjoyed this. Ooh, wait. AEW just announced that at Revolution, we will get a face of the Revolution ladder match. And Samoa Joe will be on commentary for that match. I have this on mute, so I don't know exactly what they said, but that leads me to believe that, wait. So Joe's going to do commentary and have a match? Hold on. Okay, anyways, it looks like there's going to be a ladder match at Revolution, and they said Samoa Joe will be on commentary for that match. So I assume that means the winner gets a TNT title shot. So as we move forward here, LA Knight talked about WrestleMania basically, and saying that he wants to go to WrestleMania but hasn't earned it yet. LA Knight mocked everyone wanting to have WrestleMania moments. He said he doesn't want a moment. Knight wants to make money, and the only way to do that is to go to WrestleMania where you make the most money. He promised to give WrestleMania an LA Knight moment. So it's like, I don't want a WrestleMania moment. I want to give them an LA Knight moment. Also, breaking news, the House of Black will challenge for the Trios Championships at Revolution. The New Day would then interrupt and walk down the aisle. Kofi mocked LA Knight for being on the main roster for 2 months and wanting a WrestleMania moment already. You should, though. I didn't understand. Why are you making fun of this guy for going, I want a WrestleMania moment? Why? Why, he can't have one? That should be your goal, to be a world champion and want a WrestleMania moment. It don't matter how little or how long you've been on the main roster. Like, come on, Kofi. Come on. So you're saying that, oh, you've only been on the main roster for 2 months, so it shouldn't matter to you. WrestleMania shouldn't matter to you. And also, he's been on the main roster for way more than 2 freaking months. I'm going to say that as well. It's been more than 2 months, but This made no sense to me. Kofi kind of mocking him for wanting a WrestleMania moment. It's like, everybody should want a WrestleMania moment. So what? Sami Zayn back in 2015 at WrestleMania 32 shouldn't have been in that ladder match for the IC title because he wasn't even technically main roster yet? Like, this was so stupid. I didn't like this at all. So we keep on going. And LA Knight called them the Nerd Day. Xavier Woods noted that WrestleMania moments are not just handed out. Apparently, they're earned. Okay, cool, whatever. Woods praised Kofi for having his WrestleMania moment in winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Knight then mocked Kofi Mania, upsetting Kofi, and eventually ended up Kofi versus LA Knight. Basically, I thought that was funny. Kofi's like, you know what? We're going to fight. Let's just have a match. Adam Pearce, if you're listening, send a referee, make this thing official. Let's do it. So we get the match. The match goes 16 minutes. This was a long, long match. Like, I don't know why this match had to go as long as it did, but it did. So the match itself started off with basically as soon as we went to break. Like, they rang the bell and then we went to break. And the first 3 minutes of the match took place during a commercial. Kingston, then, when we came back, Kingston fought back and hit a second rope splash. Kingston and Woods danced at ringside. Kingston caught Knight with a boot to the face and a flying crossbody for a 2. Kingston then slowed down the pace, working over Knight's arm. Kingston regained control with a slam for a near fall. Kingston blocked a neck breaker and hit a splash in the corner. Knight then blocked a third splash, dropping Kingston on the top turnbuckle as we went to another commercial break during this match. I mean, 16 minutes. Of course, we're going to get multiple commercial breaks. During the break, they told us that that Knight grabbed Kingston by the head, throwing him into the turnbuckle. Kingston then got in Woods' face and dared Woods to hit him. Knight hit a slingshot shoulder tackle for a near fall. Kingston then recovered and hit a boom drop to take over. He then set up for the Trouble in Paradise, and Knight did avoid it. Knight then hit a back suplex and do a Uranagi for a near fall. Knight took out Woods, who kept playing his trombone. Kingston then wiped out Knight with a dive. Knight leapt onto the top turnbuckle, and then Woods played the trombone in Knight's face. This distraction allowed Kingston to trip up Knight and hit a Trouble in Paradise to pick up the victory. Kofi does end up defeating LA Knight. Match was all right. It wasn't great, and it went way longer than I believe it should have. Like, it did not need to go almost 16 and a half minutes. Then they gave us the match flow of the week, and they recapped everything that's been going on so far with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. And then out came Charlotte Flair. So Charlotte enters the ring and pointed at the WrestleMania sign. Flair calls out Ripley, and she doesn't respond. Flair assumes Ripley remembers what happened years ago, and she's scared to come out tonight. Well, would then come Dominic Mysterio instead. He thinks Flair's jealous and notes that Ripley's been on fire lately. Dominic praised Ripley for being so strong. He says she even hurts his back when they hug. He then said something about mommy, and Flair used the line, well, I've got my own Mexican at home that calls me mommy. I got my own real Mexican at home that calls me mommy. Again, BCW, please stop spamming the chat. You're not promoting your own stuff in my chat. Not trying to be rude or anything, but we're not doing all that. That's kind of rude. You want me to promote your stuff? We can talk on the side and figure something out later. But I don't need people spamming the chat, promoting their own stuff in my chat. That's not what these people are here for. So Dominic mentions that they both have famous fathers, and he claims that his father messed him up. When Ripley beats Flair at WrestleMania, Flair proved to her father that she is not good enough. Flair then goes, well, the difference between you and me, I love my father. And unlike Dominic, Flair said that he'd kick Dominic's butt if her father or she would kick Dominic's butt. My father, even at 73 years old, would kick your butt. And instead, Charlotte will do it. But instead, I'll do it myself. Ripley then finally made her way down to the ring once Charlotte basically threatened to attack Dom. She got in Flair's face, and Ripley and Dominic just kind of walked away. Wade Barrett found all of this hilarious and amusing. He said that Dominic and Charlotte were flirting with one another. I thought that was great by Wade to think of it like that. I thought that was so funny. Where he's like, well, you know, Cole, it seemed like they were flirting a little in the ring. I found that super funny. So then Shayna Baszler comes out for a 3-minute match with Natalya that nobody cared about. This crowd couldn't give two craps about it. They gave it earlier today where Adam Pearce cleared Natalya when Tegan Nox agreed to have her back. Apparently, Natty's been dealing with an injury of sorts. I don't know. Baszler then teased the running knee that broke Natalya's nose a few months ago, and Natalya avoided a roll-up and set up for a sharpshooter. Baszler rolled out of the ring, but Natalya caught her with a sliding dropkick. Also, weirdly, Shayna came out to Ronda's music, which is kind of weird. But Rousey was there and caused a distraction, allowing Baszler to hit her running knee. She followed this up with an armbar for the victory. Match goes just shy of 3 minutes, with Shayna defeating Natty. After the match, Rousey and Baszler jumped Natalya until Nox made the save. Rousey then challenged Nox to a match next week. Then we get the Firefly Funhouse. And the opening music started to cut off quickly. Wyatt watched himself challenge the winner of Lashley versus Lesnar. Wyatt did a fake news segment until Uncle Howdy did the weather, and Wyatt hosted a fake game show. They said that coming up next on the Firefly Funhouse, can you keep a secret? Wyatt appeared wearing a scary mask and asked if you could keep a secret. Very weird, and I don't know what the hell this was. I honestly, that's what happened, but I don't know what that was. I don't know what any of this was. It was weird. Very, very weird. So in the locker room, Jimmy and Solo continue to talk about their brother Jay. Paul Heyman says he got a text from Roman Reigns, and he's showing up next week on SmackDown. He said, Jimmy, better deal and take care of Jay tonight, or Roman's going to come next week and handle all of them. We then had Rey Mysterio versus Karrion Kross. The match went 8 minutes and 45 seconds-ish. And the match itself wasn't bad, but it was just a match. It was better. I felt like this was better than the last Rey and Karrion Kross match, so that's a positive. Mysterio was on fire early on, sending Kross to the ringside. He followed this up with a huge dive as they went to a commercial break a few minutes in. Kross took over during the break. He tried for a powerbomb on Mysterio. Instead, Mysterio reversed with the Hurricane Rana. Kross quickly regained control when he tossed Mysterio to ringside. Kross slowed down the pace, dropping Mysterio on his knee. Mysterio and Kross fought on the top rope. Mysterio got the better of Kross and hit a Hurricane Rana for a close near fall. Mysterio set it for a 619 when Scarlett would climb onto the ropes and cause a distraction. Mysterio hit the ropes and Scarlett fell into the ring. With the referee distracted with Scarlett, Dominic would run out and block the 619 attempt. Mysterio questioned his son, but walked away from Dominic. Dominic was like, hey, hit me. Hit me. Rey didn't. Rey jumped back in the ring. This then allowed Kross to blindside Rey. Kross locked on the crash jacket. Rey basically just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, passed out, and the ref called the match in favor of Karrion Kross, so Karrion picks up the victory. Then after the match, it got really interesting. Dominic gets in the ring, and he starts taunting Rey. Where he's looking at Rey, and he's like, come on, be a man. Hit me. Hit me. And Rey's like, and so he shoves Rey. Rey comes back towards Dominic. Dominic's like, are you a man? Come on, man up. Hit me. Hit me. Hit me. Shoves Rey again. He does that 2 or 3 more times. And finally, Rey steps to his son. And Dom's like, yeah, you gonna do anything? And Rey kind of like pulls his hand back like he's gonna throw it. And he doesn't. And he kind of lifts his hand lower. And Dominic's like, so I thought, you ain't a man. If you were a man, you'd hit me. But you're not. And the fans boo when Rey doesn't actually punch Dominic. So Rey like teases getting out of the ring. Then he looks back at Dom. Dom's still taunting him. Hit me, hit me, hit me. And Rey finally just leaves. He's like, do it. And the fans even broke out into a do it chant. They're like, do it, do it, do it. And Rey ultimately chose not to attack his son, not to lay hands on his son, and the fans booed Rey as he walked off. So then we had the main event segment. Another great Bloodline, Usos, Sami Zayn angle. So Jimmy's in the ring after he makes his way down, and he spoke directly into the camera. He goes, Jay, I don't know if you're here, but I know if you're not, you're probably watching, so I hope you're listening. He notes that he's always there for his brother whenever he needs him. And that's no truer than when Jay fought Roman in Hell in a Cell and Jimmy came to save him. And Roman was killing Jay, and Jimmy basically stopped Roman. Like, do we not remember that Roman didn't like anybody at one point and was killing Jay week after week? Like, killing Jay, basically. So, Jimmy knows that there's cracks in the bloodline, that there's issues with the family, and that's why they need to talk. Eventually, the crowd starts to get up. They notice something. They start reacting, and Sami jumps into the ring from the over the barricade from the crowd. Zayn grabs the mic, and he says, "Yeah, I want to speak to Jay too, but I haven't seen him." He's like, "But I also need to talk to you." He's like, "What happened? You always had my back from the start. There was no honorary Uso without you. There was no Sami Uso without you. There was no Phelan Uso without you." And so he's like, "Why did you do what you did?" He said he was devastated when Jimmy attacked him at the Royal Rumble with no hesitation at all. Fans broke into a loud Sami chant. Jimmy then said, "Come on, bro. Why are you always making this about yourself? You're selfish. Now you're blaming me for what happened to you, but you are the one that pulled the trigger. You are the one that swung that chair. I had to do what I had to do for my family." Jimmy noted that he didn't betray his family. Sami's like, "You say family. Well, I thought of you as family at one point. I thought of you like a brother. But after what you did at the Royal Rumble, I guess you just let all that go." Sami noted that Roman Reigns made him prove himself every single week, and you don't do that to family. He even pointed out that Reigns has manipulated both Jimmy and Jay. All of a sudden, the crowd starts to erupt again. There's a commotion. We look up, boom, there's Jay in the crowd, top of the stairs. Sami sees him. Jimmy sees him, but Sami looks a little longer. Jay attacks Sami. Sami fought back. And as Jimmy gets distracted by Jay starting to slowly walk down the stairs, he turns around and boo! Haluva kick to the face. The crowd starts chanting for Sami again as Jay finally makes it back all the way down the stairs. Solo runs out. Sami runs out of the ring. He looks over at Jay, and Jay gives him a, "Why the hell did you do that? You didn't have to do that," kind of look. So eventually Sami jumps to the barricade, runs through the crowd, and takes off. And basically the show ends with Solo and Jimmy in the ring, Sami out in the crowd, and Jay right up against the barricade, just kind of looking along like none of this needed to happen. Where did this call come from? Why did it come to this? And we know Roman is coming next week. As far as next week does go, we know that Roman Reigns will be on the show. Rhea Ripley will be going one-on-one with Liv Morgan. And Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler will take on the team of Natalya and Tegan Nox. Even though Ronda just challenged Tegan, and then they made it a tag match anyway. So, yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But with that, that is everything that did take place tonight on Friday Night Smackdown. With that, you know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Smackdown as far as the polls do go. So let's refresh all of those really quickly. Or as the Twitch poll does go, 100% of you liked Smackdown. Good to see. Good to see. As far as the Twitter poll does go, 53% liked the show, 23% thought it was just all right, and 19% did not like it. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, wait for that to finish refreshing, 75% liked the show, 17% thought it was just all right, and 8% did not like it. And finally, the YouTube live poll, and that really quick. And drum roll. 60% liked the show. 36% thought it was just all right. And 2% did not like Smackdown. So with that, guys, that is Friday Night Smackdown. That's what I thought. Those are the polls. With that, that's the end of this podcast. So with that, I want to say thank you if you are watching live, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited or twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. I also want to say thank you if you watched later on YouTube or listened on podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. So with that, guys, have a great time as far as your weekend does go, because it's Friday, coming up on the weekend. Be safe. If you're in California, it's going to be raining all weekend. If you're near where I live and where I grew up, well, it's snowing to the point where people can't get home right now. Can't get over the mountain either way. So stay safe. I was supposed to go up the hill. Well, I was thinking about it at least for the weekend, and probably not going to happen anymore. So with that, have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. All right.